Hello students, I hope you all are fine and healthy. Today we are going to start our new chapter, chapter number 17, Forest, our lifeline. So do you know what is a forest? Forest means a large area of land which is covered with the trees and plants. And all the forests do not have same kind of trees and plants due to different kind of climate and soil. The type of trees and plants that are found in various types of forest, they are different. Some of the common trees that are found in our country are sal, neem, teak, shisham, eucalyptus, banyan, etc. There are several other trees, herbs, shrubs and grasses in the forest. Some of the forest trees are also covered with the creepers and climbers. So do you remember what are creepers and climbers? Creepers are the plants that are having thin, long and weak stem and they cannot stand upright, means they cannot stand straight, and they spreads on the ground like pumpkin and watermelon. Now climbers are the plants that are having thin, long and weak stem and they also cannot stand straight, but they climbs a support like a fence or a wall. So the difference between the creepers and climbers is that the creepers spreads on the ground, whereas the climbers climbs a support like a wall, a fence or another tree. The trees in the natural forest, they are not grown by anyone. The trees in the natural forest, they grow on their own. So do you know how the trees in a forest grows? In nature, the trees produce a large number of seeds and these seeds falls on the forest floor or the forest ground. The forest floor provides favorable conditions like water, nutrients, warmth, etc. for these seeds to grow into seedlings and saplings. Some of the saplings grows into big trees. Similarly, the herbs and shrubs also grow in the forest along with the various types of trees and plants. The forest also has a large variety of animals, and the type of animals that are found in different forests, they are different. Some animals which are found in the forest of our country are lion, jackal, elephant, rabbit, deer, tiger, etc. The insects, birds, butterflies and honeybees, they help in the pollination of the flowering plants in the forest. The forest also contains decomposer organisms or microorganisms such as fungi and bacteria. The fungi that are found in the forest are mushrooms, toadstools and puffballs, etc. The forest is a big habitat and it provides a home to the various plants, animals and microorganisms. A forest also acts as a purifier of air and water. The forest acts as a purifier of air because the leaves of the plants and trees, they traps the dust particles from the air and make it clean, and the trees and the plants, they also put a lot of oxygen in the air. The forest acts as a purifier of water because the roots of the trees and plants, they may suck the dirty water from the soil and make pure water available in the form of rain. Now we will learn about the components of a forest. So a forest is made up of two components, that are living organisms and non-living environment. The living organisms in a forest are plants, animals and decomposers. The non-living environment of a forest, it consists of soil, water and air. The non-living environment of a forest provides soil, water and carbon dioxide for the plants to grow. A forest has many green plants, and these plants prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis, and for that they absorb the nutrients and the water from the soil and carbon dioxide from the air. So the plants are also called the producers because they make the food or they produce the food. A forest also has many animals, and the animals that are present in a forest, they are called consumers because they consume the food that is prepared by the plants. The animals that are present in a forest, they can be herbivores or carnivores. Whether the animals are herbivores or carnivores, they are directly or indirectly depend on the plants and trees for their food. The plants and animals that are present in a forest, they do not live forever. After a certain period of time, the plants and the animals die. The microorganisms which breaks down the dead parts of the plants and the dead bodies of the animals into simple substances such as nutrients, water and carbon dioxide, which can be used by the other plants to grow. Their organisms are known as decomposers. The nutrients formed in this way gets mixed with the soil, and the soil of the forest becomes fertile, and these nutrients can be again used by the other plants for their growth. Along with feeding on dead plants and animals, the decomposers also feed on the animal waste. They convert the animal waste into nutrients. Now we will learn the importance of decomposers or microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi in the forest. So their importance are: decomposers return the nutrients present in the dead plants, dead animals and animal waste to the soil. So decomposers help in maintaining the supply of nutrients to the growing plants in the forest. By carrying out decomposition, decomposers prevents dead plants, dead animals and animal waste from piling up in the forest or from being getting collected in the forest. When decomposers feed on the dead parts of the plants, dead animals and animal waste, so they convert them into a dark colored substance that is known as humus. The humus contains the nutrients and it gets mixed with the soil. From the soil, these nutrients are again absorbed by the roots of the living plants. So the humus helps in providing the nutrients for the growth of plants. There are some animals in the forest which eat the dead bodies of other animals, and these animals which eat dead bodies of other animals, they are known as scavengers. Example: vultures, crows and jackals. The scavengers eat the dead bodies of other animals and they helps in keeping the forest clean. When an animal dies in a forest, then the dead animals becomes food for the crows, vultures, jackals, etc. Since the dead animals are eaten and the materials present in dead plants, dead animals and animal waste, it is recycled, so there is no waste in a forest. The forest is an ecosystem consisting of living organisms such as plants, animals and decomposers, and non-living things such as soil, water and air. In the forest ecosystem, there is an interaction between the non-living things and the living things. The living organisms, like the plants, they interact with the soil to obtain the nutrients for their growth. The plants interact with the water present in the soil and in the water bodies to get the water for preparing their food by the process of photosynthesis. Plants also interact with the air to obtain the carbon dioxide for making their food by photosynthesis. The living organisms like the plants and animals, they interact with one another through their food chains in which one organism eats the other organism. Grass is a kind of plant, and this grass is eaten up by the insect such as grasshopper. Then this insect grasshopper may be eaten by a frog, and then this frog may be eaten up by a snake, and finally the snake can be eaten up by a eagle. So this is a food chain which occurs in a forest. In a forest, many different food chains can be found, and all the food chains in a forest, they are interlinked, or we can say they are connected with each other, and they forms a food web. If any food chain of a food web is disturbed, then it disturbs the other food chains also. For example, if we will remove all the snakes from a forest, then all the food chains in which the snakes take part, they will be broken or they will get affected. Every food chain in the forest, it starts with the grass or the plants. That's why the plants are known as producers, because they are producing or they are making the food for other organisms also. The plants are also known as autotrophs because they prepare their own food. So the first step in every food chain, it is plants. The plants are eaten up by the animals that are called herbivores. So the second step in a food chain, it will be always herbivores, or we can say it will be always a herbivorous animal. The herbivores are eaten up by the other animals that are called carnivores. So the third step in a food chain, it is a carnivores, but it is a small size carnivore. Now this small carnivore is again eaten up by a large carnivore, and the large carnivore is again eaten up by a more large carnivore that is known as a top carnivore. We can compare it from this food chain also. As we can see here, the first step is a plant. Now the plant is eaten up by the other animal or the insect that are known as the herbivores. Now this herbivore is eaten up by a small carnivore, and this small carnivore is again eaten up by a large carnivore, and this large carnivore is again eaten up by a more large carnivore that is known as the top carnivore. So the eagle here is a top carnivore. The green plants make their food by the photosynthesis, and these plants are eaten as food by the herbivores. Many herbivores are eaten as food by the various carnivores. In this way, the food is transferred from the plants to the various animals through the food chains occurring in a forest. When plants and animals die, then the decomposers convert their dead bodies into water, nutrients and carbon dioxide. Nutrients and water are returned to the soil, whereas carbon dioxide is returned to the air. These nutrients, carbon dioxide and water, they are reused for the growth of new plants in the forest, and this process keeps on going on and on like an unending process. So we can say that the various components of a forest, they are interdependent on each other. So that's it, students. We will continue our chapter in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Take care.